Jason,
What's up, man?
how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, no
this
problem.
Is awesome. Thank you. How's the family been?
They're good, man. They're good. Just, hanging out, living in Albuquerque and everything.
How's everyone handling COVID?
Pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
We don't really agree with the old coronavirus situation, so that's unfortunate that we're in lockdown, but, it
What,
is what
8
it
months
is.
later, 7 months later, we're in lockdown?
Ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. It's funny, back, like, the day that it started, basically, so I ran track in high school, or in college at UNM.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the day that it started, I was filming a video at track practice, and I, like, made a joke about, like, oh, the track season's over, and, like, looking back at it now, like...
That didn't age well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, yikes.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I remember back in March, I want to say, in like March or April, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she's super into country music, loves the country concerts that come through, and I'm on the phone, and I was like, you know what? This will be okay. It'll be rough for a little bit, we'll be okay. We're out of this by July.
Yeah.
We're fine, we're done, they'll get their shit together. It's a rocky start, but we'll be fine.
Yep. Not at all.
No, and I on a state level, I don't envision a world where Grisham is realizing next year.
No way.
I can't envision that happening, and if it does happen, that's how you know that our elections are rigged. Like, and I know this is racist to say, it's a fact. In New Mexico, it is a predominantly Hispanic
Yep.
and Mexican culture, right? Not even like race-based, but just a culture, right?
Yeah.
Every creed, every race, ethnicity adopts at least a little bit of the Hispanic Mexican
Oh,
culture,
yeah, for
right?
sure. For sure.
So the audacity to say, hey guys, don't have a Thanksgiving dinner with your family. Don't fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. Like,
It's not gonna happen.
like,
It's crazy because, like, back when it started, everyone was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, like you said, like a couple months, we could handle a couple months.
yeah.
But looking at it now, it's just like, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into, and on a state level, they had no idea that people just wouldn't listen.
Yeah.
Like, that goes back in history of just like,
People not
you
listening.
can't manage people,
Yeah.
like, they're just not going to do what you say.
No,
Or
it's,
govern, I
it's
guess.
fucking insane. I have a horrible habit of doing this. I forgot to shoot a text. I know I said no phones.
Yeah.
Shoot a text real quick, but I want to hear this answer from you. As long or as short as you want to give it, what is the way out of this? For New Mexico, not even the country.
Yeah.
For New Mexico, what is, in your opinion, what is the way out of this?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say, honestly, it's going to be opening everything. Because everything, I'm not claiming to be like a scientist or like anything, but anything that I've been told or anything that I've read or seen, and maybe I'm wrong with the whole herd immunity thing, but you have to open everything because at some point somebody's going to get it and you're just going to have to run with it, honestly. And off of basically getting people to stay in their houses is not going to happen. Businesses are...
Well, it didn't happen in the beginning.
Yeah, businesses are failing, people are getting fed up, and I think it's either going to be a civil war on like a state level and then nationwide, or they're going to suck it up and stop being so political about it and let people do what they want.
Well, see, what's crazy to me is like when Trump got elected, everyone was like, civil war's gonna happen. It's like, no, it's not gonna happen. We'll be okay, and we were okay.
Oh yeah.
But then the government, they didn't even do a government overreach. They fucked our liberties.
Yeah.
Like from the get-go, they didn't even wait, right? And I think now going into this election, and we're less than a week away, we're 5 days away from the election now.
Yeah.
And we're 5 days away from the election. Either way, if Biden wins, if Trump wins, we're kind of boned.
Yeah.
And not even politically, but as like just the amount of people just bumping heads and hitting and just not agreeing, and not even willing to try to agree, just saying, hey, this is the way to go. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
That's gonna cause a civil war.
Oh yeah. No, it's like you can't get away from it.
And it sucks.
It's red versus blue, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
And nobody, like, I don't think anyone, if you sit down and talk with them, except for the extreme on each side, I don't think the mass, like the grand majority of people don't want a civil war.
Yeah.
I really do believe that, right? Who wants to go fucking fight right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what is it, like 1% of our population will join the military at any point? So what's the thought process in saying, yeah, people want a civil war? No, nobody wants a fucking civil war.
Yeah.
And then they bring up, like, so in Washington, I think back in like April, there was that peaceful genuinely peaceful protest. People just showed up with like their body armor and their rifles and they just stood there.
Yeah.
All those people were either military personnel or veterans.
Yeah.
Like the great majority, right? So I just don't see, like, if you took out 100 people and said who genuinely wants a civil war, maybe like 3 would.
Yeah. No, that's true. I don't think a lot of people don't know what would happen to them in that case scenario. Like some people that like me, I'm a gun owner. Yeah. I know it's gonna happen to me. Nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be well defended against anybody that's trying to
right.
Harm me or my family. But
right.
The other side, people that are against guns or against violence, they're screwed.
Well, gun sales shot through the roof in the beginning of quarantine. They were second to fucking toilet paper. But like gun sales shot through the fucking roof. And I mean, I don't know how it was for you, but for me, I had a lot of people who weren't gun owners texting me saying, can I borrow one of yours? Or what's the best one to get right now? And I'm like, well, the best one to get was whichever one you thought about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago. Right? That was the best one to get because you're fucked now.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think still right now you can't get 9mm ammo anywhere. Me and my buddy, we barely got a sale and we were able to get 1,000 rounds of 5.56. Literally an hour later, he refreshed the page and it sold out.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, my girlfriend's family, they just like decided that they were on like the fence of like getting guns and like some of the, like my girlfriend obviously was like, she's been around me for a long time, so she knows like how to handle a weapon, why it's beneficial, and guns don't kill people ultimately.
Yeah.
So like her whole family, like all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, we got to get some guns.
Yeah.
So they all got like handguns and stuff, and like we're going to like the ranges and shooting and stuff, but 9mm ammo is gone. So it's just like you're shooting like 67 cents away like every single shot.
You're really shooting 60
Yeah.
cents away now.
Yeah.
No, it sucks, man. And I just, again, like on the state level, for us in New Mexico, like, yeah, our cases, what sucks is like our cases are spiking, but then you could also see that on the news and be like, are they though? Mm-hmm. Are they spiking?
Yeah.
Or are you just saying that to justify why you want to open things back?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, and you don't really know who to trust anymore. You can't trust what's supposed to be a trustworthy source of the news.
Yeah.
Supposed to trust the news. Journalism is supposed to be free, and I think journalism on a broad scale is free, but they're bought.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks. So they're saying whatever they want to say based on just giving them money. Mm-hmm. However the narrative is.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So they don't get like canceled.
They are bought 100%.
Yeah, and like I think one of the only people that I've heard of that's really, except for recently with the whole Hunter Biden thing, with the exception of the New York Post, I think the only person who's been consistent about his views, agree with it or not, is Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't agree with everything Fox News says. Good God.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only dude, and like him or hate him, at least he says what he's thinking.
Yep.
And even then, it's like, is he though?
Mm.
Right? So I don't know.
Yeah, there's way too many lines to like you're trying to read between, like trying to figure out what's true, what's not.
You heard about the Hunter Biden thing, right? How there's like these laptops of him assaulting children, raping children. The whole Biden family is like involved with human trafficking and like
documents just go missing, and FedEx out of like any carrier that like could have been holding top secret information.
Yeah.
Why is FedEx like just like a normal everyday corporation like running this?
Well, you heard how like the laptop stuff got outed, right? So I guess Hunter Biden, back when he was still heavily doing drugs, he took his laptop that had all these files on, all these videos on it. He took it to like a local laptop repair shop in Delaware.
Oh yeah.
And the guy like cracked it and was like, hey, he never came back. We fixed it, but he never came back. So like the 3 months or whatever goes by, and he looks into it, and he's all this dirty shit. So he gives it to the FBI. Yeah. And the FBI's like, good job, crackhead. You blew this whole fucking thing.
And they don't do anything about it.
No, and it's just swept under the rug.
Yeah.
Like the only people that reported on it was the New York Post, and then they got canceled out of Twitter.
Yep.
How do you cancel anything out of Twitter? First of all,
spot.
Like yeah, and like so. The thought process that I really subscribe to and I really believe in is what recently what Joe Rogan has just been keeping saying on his podcast is that there's an argument to be made that, and I never thought of it this way, that social media is a utility. Mm-hmm. It's accessible to everyone. Everyone uses it. It's a bigger form of communication than anyone could have ever believed.
Oh, yeah.
They're news sources now.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So they should be a utility, and you should not be able to censor people on these platforms. And even though they're private businesses, and technically they can do whatever they want on their platform, but it's getting way out of control. And I really believe if someone from the future went back to like that 90s and was like, listen, this is what social media becomes, the big government would have never let social media be a thing. It never would have been a thing. And that's why now you have people on the right, they create that OAN network, so they can literally just spew whatever the fuck they want to say, and you can almost guarantee that like, this is genuinely their narrative, good or bad.
Oh yeah. I can't even imagine, like, even growing up, my parents, like, what did you guys used to, like, how did you communicate? It's like, I can't even, like, comprehend the way that they used to have to do things.
It's tough.
Yeah, like, writing letters and, like, you know, like, trying to, like, get with the girl and you're, like, writing letters.
or like before answering machines. If you don't call, they don't answer. Well... Well, that sucks.
You're like, well, okay, that's unfortunate. Yeah, dude, it's crazy how much technology has gone, and it's unfortunate.
Something's going on this, and I don't know why. Oh, that's why. It's gonna go that way, I think.
Hello.
This is why I need a fucking producer, dude.
Yeah, there you go.
I meant to turn down your levels, and I forgot. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's why I need a fucking.
Probably fine.
If Jamie's my Joe Rogan, this is why I fucking need one right now. Yeah, dude, like I just don't understand what the fuck is going on, and I think like what I always think about is I mean, you obviously Step Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Remember the scene at the dinner table, and they're like, we're getting a divorce, and they're just sitting there, and I think it was John C. Reilly, and he was like, what the fuck happened? Like that's like my response to all of this, like every day, like what the fuck happened? And then I remember I follow Jared Leto on Instagram. And I guess this dude went off on his fucking little island or his commune like right before the lockdown happened, and he came out like 11 days later. He was like, "What is going on?"
Me, that's funny you mentioned that because me and my best friend, we went camping like the weekend that everything was like hitting the fan, you know. So we go out and like my family's like, "Are you sure like you should be going out right now?" It's kind of like. Because we didn't know, right? We thought it might have been more serious than it actually is, or we had no idea back then. We were just
especially back then it was the China virus.
Yeah, the government was just like, "Hey, stay in your houses. The flu's here."
Yeah,
like,
it was
I'm going camping.
It was the beer crisis.
Yeah,
exactly. That's all it was.
Exactly. Yeah. So me and him, we're like prepping to go camping. We go into the stores and we're looking for like tuna, like ramen noodles and stuff. Yeah. So we're going down these aisles. Cleared out, and we're like, what is going on? Like people are going like psycho. So then we're like, we'll just go anyways. So we go out and we stayed like one night, I think maybe 2 nights, and it was like snow up in like wherever we went. But so we turned back around and came back, and the world was just like that much worse. And what is going on? Yeah, literally on fire.
Yeah, I don't get what's going on, and I think it boils down to, and this is what I was telling some of my friends and all, because some of my friends were like, you know what, it's fine, but when this COVID goes away, the government's gonna let up. I'm like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not. Like this is like what I was hoping when COVID happened was this was gonna make the medical, because everything just hit the fan. New York got fucked up, Seattle got fucked up, all of California's been fucked up.
Yeah.
And my hope is like, okay, this is like the medical community's 9/11. This exposes how weak our hospitals really are when we have a crisis, how underfunded they are, how under-equipped they are, and then like as just like a individual basis on how your health is, this is like the medical community's 9/11, right? It's like, hey, if you're sucking down Taco Bell and Whataburger and McDonald's and donuts and just shit every day, you're gonna have a fucked up body. And if something happens to you, it's gonna activate all these pre-existing conditions, whether you knew you had them or not, and this is what's gonna fucking happen. So the one positive I did see when COVID happened and all the quarantines happened was that so many people on the social media pages, like fitness enthusiasts, they made millions of home workout videos.
Oh yeah.
That is like the one shining light that I found. It's dwindled off now. The fucking lights, they ran out of ideas.
Yeah.
but I mean, it should have been a wake up call. I mean, I think it was a wake up call for a lot of people. It's like, oh fuck, maybe the pack and a half, 2 packs a day of cigarettes is not good for me.
Like, oh, maybe my immune system is compromised.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
And then what I really feel bad for is I know people like this and a child like this very personally, that's like, they're healthy, but like they have a certain type of diabetes, or they have a compromised immune system, or they had a surgery, or they had an illness prior that just kind of fucked their body. And then it's like, well, they stay healthy as much as they can, but then they're still susceptible to this. I always feel like fucking bad for them.
Yeah, but you have to think too that those people they're like you said, they're already compromised. So any sickness that they get, it's going to be that much worse. Because their body's already messed up. So they're like, I don't know how to deal with this to begin with. And then something that we don't know what's going on. I don't buy that we don't know what coronavirus is. But
I think, well, yeah, no, I agree with that because like if you just take 5 minutes to break it down, okay, it's a coronavirus. That means the type of flu. How do you get the regular flu? Okay, there's like 90% of the equation right there. Right? Now all we don't know really is like the proper treatment as in like medicine and then the side effects.
Yeah, and we're wondering why when Trump got sick, how old is he? Like 70?
Dude, that dude sucks down McDonald's french fries all the time. He's 74 years old, fat as fuck, and he's still got 80s cocaine flowing through his body. And he beat it in 4 days. Now granted, he has access to a lot more things Americans have, and I forget what medication he has, or he took, but he actually had stock in that company, so no shit, he got it immediately. But like, why are we investing all our time in figuring out what that was and mass spreading that?
Exactly.
Because they're doing all these RNA vaccines, I guess, and they're having horrible mortality rates. They're getting, every person taking it has gotten even sicker. And the RNA vaccine, to my knowledge, what it's doing to your body is it fucks you on a cellular level, and then it treats you, it trains your cells to produce a certain protein to beat the virus, and it basically just restructures your cells. Well, cancer does that too. And this vaccine is being put out, these testing vaccines are getting put out, not just in our nation, but around the world. They were getting people sick. And then all of a sudden, they're back to stage 1. They went back on these ventilators. And then we find out, I remember we found at the beginning, I think like in like maybe April or May, that the ventilator actually pretty much a death sentence. Like, because your body just became so used to using that, and it just became reliant on it. So if you took them off, the person died.
To bring back to the point of like how uninformed, like, or how like not prepared we were. Like I started helping out in a warehouse that was helping like distribute medical supplies like throughout our state. And it was like when we got there wasn't a system in place to do that. And I'm like, isn't it somebody's job to have like emergency like medicine distributed through the state so that they could like help out, or like whose job is that and why didn't it get done?
I agree.
And I feel like that's every other state too, so then could that have helped initially to get the cases down?
No shit. I feel like when this happened, I don't know why there's a mass spread of just brains turning off. No, seriously, why did everyone just a brand new fucking virus could be a pandemic? Why And then and I don't think he did this to purposely fuck our country. I'm sure he had his reasons, but Trump, like back in like last March of 2019, May of 2019, he pulled out of that, or like he dismantled like the pandemic response team.
Oh, really?
Or yeah, whatever he had. I forget what the actual name was called, but he pulled out of it, and it is an internal thing for our government, like our specific government, and he dismantled that team. And then a year later, we really needed that fucking team.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably thinking like, here, let's help him out with the taxes, and like taxpayers don't need to be paying these people that don't.
We're not gonna have a pandemic.
And then it's just like 6 months later, like, oh well, we actually needed them.
Yeah, and I remember hearing
That's
about.
funny.
I remember hearing about the coronavirus when it was still like the China problem. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's over there.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. A fucking virus after a beer. Yeah, we're cool. Whatever. And then it was like, oh, people are coughing a lot, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people coughing right now, bro. And like. It was a guest I had on last night, and then my girlfriend, and then some members of her family, and like other buddies that I have, they're telling me now, like earlier this year, but like they're like, yeah, like back in like October, November of 2019, I got really fucking sick.
Yeah.
The doctors didn't know what it was. They treated it like it was a flu. They gave me some sort of antibacterial just in case, but I was fucking in it for like.
Yeah.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, but then other people that told me this were like, yeah, I was in and out in 3 days. It's the same story as now. So like, yeah, they're like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck it was, but then COVID started happening. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I had COVID.
Yeah.
Like,
That's literally what happened to both my brothers and my sister-in-law. Like it was just like, or sister-in-law? Sister?
soon to be sister-in-law.
No.
Oh.
Sister, my brother's wife.
Oh, so yeah, sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law, right?
Okay.
I was confused. I was like, does that mean that she's my... No. So both of my brothers and my sister-in-law, they all got super sick like November, December of last year. And they were, I was just like, you're fine. Like, get up, it's the flu. Come on, stop being a baby. But they were like deathly
There's
sick.
some
And they-
fucking dirt on it. Stop being a bitch.
My brother was like, I literally felt like I was gonna die, and I was like, oh shit, like maybe we should pay attention to that. And then yeah, the coronavirus hit, and I'm like, you guys probably had corona.
Yeah, and then like what's crazy is they're seeing a lot of people, like maybe people our age, that beat it relatively quickly or had that really shitty scenario, like they were on death's door but they made it, they're okay. The lung scarring is absolutely, it's like you threw a fucking little jack just into their lungs and let it bounce around like a little razor blade. And the lung scarring is really ridiculous. And it's like they have fucking a severe form of asthma for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, they're never gonna. Yeah, that's the scary part.
Yeah.
That's how it sucks.
And then, like, I got a buddy in who lives in New York, and I mean, you just saw the fucking room upstairs. I love collecting fucking statues. So that's my shit. And so I bought a statue from him fucking February, right? He still is not able to ship it out of New York. Like their USPS system's all fucked up.
Dang.
Right, so he doesn't really trust it. It's a high value item. Doesn't trust that. And then I talked to him like 2 weeks ago, and his UPS, they don't ship big items. And it's a fucking big fucking thing. They don't ship big items, and they don't let you inside. Still, in New York.
Yeah.
And I remember in the beginning, like, Cuomo was like getting praised for what he was doing, and now everyone's looking at him, he's a fucking idiot. Because he's stupid. Like, all the things that he's doing, he's think.
Yeah, he's dumb.
Like, I don't know, man. And then just, like, I'm for the First Amendment. I am for the right to assemble and protest. I am for that. You need to be able to put the government to go fuck themselves. It's healthy. Like, you need to be able to do that. But you can't, the same government should not say you can go and protest, but you can't go to church.
Yeah.
Or you can't have a birthday party, or you can't go to a funeral, or you can't whatever. But you can go to Walmart, but you can't go to the movies.
Yeah.
You can't go to the bar.
It's stupid.
Right.
It's so ridiculous what they deem as like necessary.
COVID safe.
Yeah, I'm like,
And then,
give me a break.
And then now they're not even trying to hide that they're corrupt. Because they're like, no, you can protest for Black Lives Matter, you can protest for these things, and I support the statement Black Lives Matter, there's no shit, that like police brutality is bad. We need to help these people out. We need to fix our fucking police force. Like I completely agree with that. But I don't agree with fucking violence.
Yeah.
Like I was talking with my buddy last night on this podcast. Like, look, I get the violence. I understand where it's coming from, but it doesn't make it right.
Oh no.
And in that same thing, like if you go and burn down the local and loot the local Target or the Walmart or the Best Buy, they're gonna rebuild it somewhere else. Not in your neighborhood.
Yeah, exactly.
You just lost Target for a while, but they don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
Right? And then I say, no, if you go fuck up the local businesses, they're here to literally serve you.
Yeah.
So now...
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so not only are you fucking your own community on that end, if now the city planner and the mayor and the governor and the chief of police, when they all come together for their yearly meeting at the end of the fiscal year, they're like, okay, how are we going to go to the federal government and just by getting more money for these poor communities that they're burning shit down?
Yeah.
They're not going to get the money.
Yeah.
And they're not going to pump their own money into it.
They're screwed.
And you fuck that community for generations.
Yep.
And I forget what the bill was called that Trump signed in. I put like $500 million, $500 billion, whatever. That's a huge margin. But like whatever million or billion it was into black communities, helping these black colleges out, and that's great. But the actions of these communities is just undermining that.
Yeah.
So they don't realize it.
Yeah.
Because they're not told that. And I feel like not a lot of people are telling them these are the ramifications for your actions. Do whatever you want. You're an American, right? Apparently do whatever the government lets you. But like, do whatever you think is right, but know the consequences.
This is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna have any local businesses. That means you're not gonna have any money.
Yeah.
That means you're screwed. Your poverty stricken neighborhood
You're gonna stay that way.
is gonna be 10 times worse now. You know? So it's
No, yeah, you're fucking.
it's unfortunate that they feel the need to destroy everything. Like I don't understand why that matters. I mean,
So-
their voices aren't heard, so let's.
So here's why I get it. At least I understand it.
Yeah.
And before I say this, I don't condone violence. I don't condone the riots.
Yeah.
I don't condone the burning down of police stations or police precincts. But here's why I understand it. From their point of view, the people that are supposed to be protecting them aren't. And the problem is that I believe that there are more good cops than bad cops.
Oh, yeah.
I don't I couldn't contest that at all. Even on a statistical point, there has to be more good than bad, right?
Yeah.
And there are millions of interactions with police officers that don't get documented on social media because they're good. So you should take it, have a good day, sorry, fuck off.
Yeah.
Right? Or it's like you see them, you pass them, whatever the interaction is that's good, that's positive, you don't see it on social media. But the problem is that maybe the George Floyd incident or the Robert Black incident, that any of these shootings of African Americans, justified or not, right? They go on social media and they get millions of views.
Yeah.
So yeah, it might have happened, this one incident might have happened, but it gets shared and it gets looked at millions of times, so people's brains are registering it as this incident has now happened 2 million, 3 million, 4 million times.
Yeah.
So in their brain, it's like, okay, all this is happening, these people are protecting us, now that social contract is broken. We are following the law, we are cooperating with police, and they're still killing us. They aren't listening to us, and the problem with the media too is these peaceful protests. Most of the truly peaceful protests you don't see on mass media.
Yeah.
You only see violence, you only see riots, you only see these ugly things in the streets. So their mindset is, if that's the way we get filmed, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
That is why we're doing it. And again, do I agree with it? Not at all. Should you be burning down the big box stores? No. Should you be burning down the local businesses? No. Should you be burning down the local police precincts? I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
But at least the police precincts, you're attacking the people that are attacking you.
Yeah.
That makes a little more sense, but that doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any of it right.
No, not at all.
And I think the biggest problem with all this is the media just spewing just hate, just fanning these flames.
Yeah.
And I don't even think, I would love to see the stats on it, but I don't think, maybe it's gone up a little bit, but because now, I think what's happening with the police force, what I can see is the police officers who are inherently bad, but they're the ones that are kind of just turning a blind eye to it.
Exactly.
They're getting activated to do bad things.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other hand, the good cops that are afraid to speak up, but they are good police officers, they're speaking up now.
Yeah.
So you're kind of having both sides of that coin doing more of what they want to do, truly what they want to do, right? And I think that police brutality necessarily hasn't gone up as a number. It's just a lot easier to see it.
Oh yeah. Because that's what's shared.
Easier.
You know?
Yeah.
You're not ever seeing anything that cops do that is good.
Yeah.
It's just always negative. And that's the media's forte. I mean, they're not going to get views on something that happens like, oh, police officer fireman saves cat out of a tree, you know?
Yeah.
Like a classic story.
Yeah.
It's like, officer shot black man 4 times in the back, unarmed black man 4 times in the back.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, like why did this happen?
Yeah.
You know? And then the media or Twitter, I would say Twitter and like Instagram and stuff, it's like, when does this video start and when does it end? And they're like, okay, start it here, right when this guy is kind of looking like a defensive position, where the 5 minutes before that he's carrying around like a Glock or a knife and threatening everybody around him, and then the cops are fed up with it. I mean, when it comes down to it, it's my life or this criminal's, and they might not be a criminal.
Yeah.
Most cases, hate to say it, they are.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Like, why are the cops being called?
See, and the argument that I hate too is like, well, people are like, well, actually, there are more white shootings than black shootings with police officers. Then my response to that is, well, shouldn't you be mad about that too? Shouldn't you be mad about that too? Shouldn't you be mad about police brutality, not just cop on African American brutality?
Yeah.
You should be pissed that cops are corrupt anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't fit the narrative, so they don't care.
No, exactly. And the one that just boggled my mind when more information came out and the people still justified it was the Robert Black shooting. Because from what I read in the police reports that I read and the eyewitness statements that were given, they were called to his apartment complex because there was domestic violence happening.
Yeah.
They get him, he's rushing out of the apartment complex to his car and he's saying, fuck you, they see him with a knife. And they're staying back because they're really fucking stabbed.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, fuck you, I'm getting my gun. Fuck you, I'm getting my gun. Fuck you, I'm getting my gun. And they're telling him, don't get in your vehicle, don't do it, you're gonna get shot, don't do it. And what does he do? He hung onto his car, gets into his vehicle, and reaches. No shit, they're gonna shoot him.
Yeah.
Because what's to say that he didn't reach for, when there was a gun there, but what's to say he didn't reach for a gun, he just got into his car trying to run the cops over.
Yeah, exactly.
Vehicles are a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
Right? And then the argument is, well, they should have shot him in the leg. Oh, they should have shot him in the femoral artery? Yeah.
Because that's good. The quality of life after that's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, provided they survive.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was even what Biden said. Like, look at what Joe Biden said at a rally. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I
He was like, yeah, we just need to train cops to shoot him in the leg.
Yeah, it's
And it's like, what? Let's shoot you in the leg and see how long you make it. From calling ambulance, hospital treatment. Let's see how long you make it.
It's eliminating a threat, not really shooting somebody.
Yeah.
You know, if they're still capable of harming you, you didn't do your job. You know, my dad retired from Albuquerque Police Department, so he worked there for like 20 years, and so having him in the house is like a whole different perspective because he's super pro cop. I'm pro cop, but he's like yeah, there are bad cops. You know, he's super realistic. He's like, there's bad cops. I don't think anybody in their right mind thinks that George Floyd should have died.
See, and that's. You keep going, but I have a point on that.
Yeah,
keep going.
nobody believes that, but everybody is acting like the cop is, and that cop should be in jail, in prison, like death sentence, like whatever, like the case is, you know, that's a bad cop. More often than not, some of these cops are just like stuck in a predicament. You know, you digress the situation to like a Karen inside of like a super, you know, a Walmart. She's like causing a problem, you get your manager, you deal with it. That's like a PG version.
Yeah.
A rated R version is involving guns.
You have seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Seconds to act.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the craziest thing to me too about COVID was we are faced with a human problem. There is a pandemic. there's a virus going around that we don't know a lot about, we don't know how to tackle this, we need to figure this out together. And it very quickly becomes a partisan thing.
Yeah.
And then the masks become a partisan thing. So we're already divided on that. Okay, that fucking sucks, right? Now we gotta deal with that.
Yeah.
George Floyd gets killed. Everyone sees it and everyone rightly gets mad about it.
Yeah, exactly.
For like a week.
Yeah.
Everyone was mad for like a week. But then it became, well, he was a criminal anyway. Well, he had meth in his system. Well, he should have. It's like, no, stupid. Even if he was a criminal, even if he had methamphetamine in his system, the dude wasn't being violent.
Yeah.
And no one, except for very select people in this world that are just true dog shit, no one deserves to have their neck kneeled on for almost 9 minutes. Nobody deserves that. That's not justice. And then, so you have that cop kneeling on the dude's neck with his hands in his pockets. They come out and he's like that, kneeling on his neck. And then you have the four or the fifth of police officers either standing and not looking at it, or they are trying to block people's views. They know what's going on is wrong, but for whatever reason, they're not saying anything about it. And then the other argument I don't like is people at the time were like, well, why did the civilians do it? Well, be anything about it. Well, because you're seeing one guy get fucked up. You think the other three are gonna hesitate to fucking kill you too?
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is stand there and film.
Yeah. I think that's like, you see like street fights or like anything and everybody's always filming it. Like that's their first instinct.
Yeah.
So I not disagree with you, but it's just like, why don't people stop using their phones? Like, be like, hey, maybe if I don't shove a camera in your face and call you a dirty pig, like whatever, like maybe you'll listen to what I'm saying. Like,
And it's definitely
hey, this guy can't breathe, obviously. Like,
it's definitely a case by case basis.
yeah, oh yeah.
But like with the George Floyd thing, I get why nobody did nothing.
Yeah.
Because like they're putting this guy down like a dog. What are they gonna do to you? You know? I don't know, dude. It's just crazy to me. And it makes me think back to how, like, sadly, it was right for its time, but it was very prophetic. The music video that Childish Gambino put out, that "This Is America," that only came more true.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in that video only came right down to the flames.
Yeah.
Like the cars on fire, people jumping off of buildings, like.
Yeah.
And then that scene where like he's kind of panning to his next area and it's like an over, and so like the kids just filming on their phones. All that came true.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what the fucking way out of this. And like I said, it's only gonna be worse.
Mm-hmm.
This election will only make it worse. I think the only way we make out of this election well, or at least better than we are now, is if a libertarian wins.
Yeah.
How funny would that be if a fucking like George Orson or
the
one
girl
of
Joe.
Yeah, if she won and people are like, oh, okay.
Yeah, nobody wins. I guess
like,
it's okay.
hey, my guy didn't win. That sucks, but because I feel like a lot of people are voting red or voting blue because at least it's not red or at least it's not blue, right? And they like, I asked both Trump and Biden supporters, like my personal life, not on this podcast yet. I haven't brought this conversation up yet, but it's like, why are you voting for Trump? Because I just prefer not to like get their personal vote out. I don't want to bring that into the conversation quite yet. But like, why are you voting for Trump? Why are you voting for Biden? And the number one answer is because they're not the other person. That's not a way to. I honestly think that's worse than not voting.
Yeah.
Because you're casting a false ballot.
Yeah. They're just like, I don't want that guy to win, so I'm gonna vote them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say so. So like, personally,
Yeah.
I'm voting for Trump.
Okay.
So my reasoning behind it is the stuff that he stands for aligns with what I like in my life.
Specifically being.
God. That's number one. So being, having religion in schools, having religion like kind of in our foundation as a nation. One nation under God, like the whole shit deal, So I think that's important because they unfortunately it's been getting chipped away at year by year by year by year by year. And you could see it's just like, it's not even about religion, it's just about decent people. You know, like there's just no more decent people anymore to just like, hey, have a conversation about this. They're just like, no, I hate you, like go die or whatever. So that's like number one. Number two, I'd say like he delivers. I would say he's a businessman, and he runs, you like it or not, he runs the office like a businessman. You know, he's making deals. He's making deals with China. He's making deals with, you know, Russia. He's making deals with the Middle East. He's trying to make peace because he knows that that's what's best for America. And not a lot of people are setting aside their hatred for somebody to see like a bigger picture for something else.
Right.
And I mean, there's some other things too, but it's just like nobody's decent enough to just like, hey, what does this list look like? I like guns. I like gay marriage. I like this, and this. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, why can't it be based off of something like that, where it's just like Trump or Biden?
See, it's funny you say that. I have a few responses to what you just said, but funny you bring up like the guns, gay marriage, something like that. It's general freedom, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I think, you know, I think this country, when you break it down person by person, all like what's the fucking million people that fucking live here, I think the majority of this country is more middle.
Yeah, 100%.
Than anyone is willing to admit. I would almost say center left than anyone is willing to admit. Mm-hmm. Because most people are like, yeah, you should be able to own whatever guns you want within certain reason.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
You know, gay people, who gives a fuck who you sleep with?
Yeah.
Just because my view on that is like, I support gay marriage. Like, I don't give a fuck what these people do. Now, do I want like a group of protesters getting in my face saying you have to love gay marriage? No, I don't want that.
Yeah, exactly.
Most people want to be left alone.
Yeah.
Right? Most people want to be left alone. And then so, like, most people want gay marriage.
Yeah.
A lot of people want fucking legal weed.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Excuse me. I don't understand why weed's not legal. No, so I do understand it's a big pharma. I get that. Like Joe Rogan has a good bit on it, and he's like, they want to sell you the fucking sleeping pills, you know, smoke weed, jerk off, and try to stay awake. Yeah. Right? Like, you're not gonna stay awake.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many healing benefits, and someone that I actually want to have on my next season runs a hemp and CBD farm. The only reason they don't run a weed farm that's not legal in New Mexico.
Really?
The shitty part is they're in fucking Chama, New Mexico. How fucking close is that into Colorado?
Yeah.
You can literally like slingshot a rock and you land in Colorado. Yeah. You know? So that's the shitty part. The patch of dirt will differentiate whether you're a felon or not.
Yeah.
That's shitty to me. We need borders, but like, that's shitty. Mm-hmm. Most people want legal weed, right? Most people want free speech, whether it's like this or on the internet. Yeah. You shouldn't be able to ban the fucking New York Post. You shouldn't be able to ban the Speaker of the House. As crazy as he is, because he's right on most things, you shouldn't be able to ban fucking Alex Jones. You shouldn't be able to. Because my thought process on it is like, let the crazy people say what they want to say. Because I think that right now, let the idiots say what they want to say. Because most people would say, yeah, they're fucking stupid. Because we're post-Hitler. Yeah. We're post, like, very clear hate speech. And that's why, like, that's the reason why I'm a critic of Trump on some things. Because some of the things he says and have said, probably will continue to say, are fucking disgusting. Yeah. They're horrible things to say. I thought in the 2016 election that he lost the election when he said, grab my pussy. Yeah. That whole fucking recording that came out, I thought that was it. I was like, dude, you just lost the entire women vote. You've lost a lot of liberal vote. Because liberal is not selected to the Democratic Party, just like conservative is not selected to the Republican Party. So if there's a liberal, you just lost their vote. But he fucking won. Yeah. Right? I'm still shocked. Yeah. Right? And so I think most people want the free speech. And again, people who don't want these things are just the extremes of both sides.
Yeah, exactly.
And the people that are the extremes, they out themselves by opening their mouths. Mm-hmm. So most sane people will look at that and say, I'm not going to follow that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say like that's perfect. Like the only reason I mean, the only reason that it's Trump versus Biden is because the Libertarians not going to win. That's the facts.
And our system
we're not there yet.
And our system is set up. Well, I disagree with that. We are there. Our generation is there. It's the people who have been on the top for so fucking long. They are refusing to let the third parties. Like, if you look at the ballot, have you voted yet?
No, not yet. I'm going tomorrow.
Okay, so when you look at the ballot, dude, there's like 5 fucking choices for president. Like, but how many people debated? Right? There's like 5 fucking choices, and there's a write-in. And every year it's like that. Every 4 years. Every 4 years there's more than 2 choices, but people still choose the one.
It's because a vote for anybody else is just throwing it away.
The shitty part is more people thought that if people knew that it wasn't, I think we'd be better off.
Yeah.
I think. I don't think libertarians are gonna win.
Yeah.
It's a sad thing. I don't think they're gonna win. But I think when you look at election night and you see the polls come in, right? Or the percentages come in, rather. I think it's going to be one of the years people will look back on 20, 30, 50 years from now. We're analyzing elections, and they're going to be the 2020 election is why the Libertarian won 15 years later, 20 years later, because you're going to see whatever percentage is the winner, whatever the small below is the loser, but then you're going to see a high uptick of the Libertarians. Because Joe Jorgensen is all over social media.
Yeah, she is.
Like
I follow her on Facebook.
yeah, and like in our age group.
Yeah.
She is all over.
No, it's true. Well, it's like you said. It's just like, hey, don't mess with me. I could care less what you do. If it makes you happy, do it. Whatever. Don't make it my problem.
Yeah.
Because as soon as it becomes my problem, then it's everyone else's problem.
Yeah.
You know, and then we got to figure out how to stop it or what the repercussions are.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think this is the first election. I call it the fuck it vote, where it's like, I don't like Trump, I don't like Biden, fuck it, I'll vote for this person. I think a lot of them will be that, and not enough to decide against the Republican or Democratic Party, but again, I think there's going to be a high uptick in that third party. What I'm curious about, honestly, is because he made it onto like 8 or 13 ballots. I'm curious to see what percentage Kanye West gets.
It'd be funny, dude.
Because, like, did you watch the episode with him with Rogan and Kanye West?
Yeah.
So at the very end of the podcast, the last like 2 minutes, they show a YouTube video. I can't even fucking show this, but how to write in on a ballot, and Kanye West put it on his Twitter, and it's literally like a pen and it writes in Kanye West on the fucking write-in part. And he's like, listen, you like 13 of you states can vote for me, but all 50 of you can write me in.
Yeah.
So help me out.
Yeah.
So
Who do you think's gonna win? One word answer.
I think Trump.
Okay.
I really do. I think. So let me respond to what you said first, and then I'll answer that.
Yeah.
So you said Trump follows through. I agree with that on most parts, except for healthcare. Healthcare. There's actually a video that I watched where there's a hyper clip of him being asked about healthcare from 2016 to now, and it's the same answer. Is we've got a great one coming. Or like 3.5 years later, we've got a great one coming. We really haven't seen the answers.
So what are you looking for in healthcare? Like what?
Oh, dude, I'm a fucking moron. I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you, but what I do know is like.
So like Joe Biden, like universal healthcare?
So I think.
Like the way Canada does it?
Yeah, I think universal healthcare is achievable. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
But what I think the bottom line should be, no matter who gets sick, they should not have their life ruined because they broke a bone or got sick. Especially now in COVID.
Yeah.
Well, because what, staying the night at a hospital average you out at like $2,800? That's bullshit.
Yeah.
That is utter bullshit. Like a buddy of mine, he just got really sick, I think 3 years ago. Randomly, he just got really sick for like 2 days, and the next day he was like puking and shitting blood. Like he was turning into a fucking zombie for 28 days later. Like he was so he goes to the hospital. No, I'm sorry, this is like 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago. Dude, he paid off that debt 18 months ago, and that was doing steady payments, and he wasn't doing minimum either.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't have and thank God he was young.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't have bills yet, like major bills. He didn't have a kid, didn't have a wife, you know. He was living at home, working and going to school. Mm-hmm. And he became my roommate for a little bit here out working. Well, If he was like a 30-year-old with a wife, kids, mortgage, car payments, insurance, this, that, and the other, he would have been fucked for life. Because what does he do, right? He stays in debt to the hospital, goes to collections, or he takes out a loan to pay the debt, and then the debt to the loan, which undoubtedly has a higher interest rate than the hospital debt. So what do you do, right? So I think like the bottom line should be either make it very inexpensive and have a backup plan for the poor people, for the very low echelons of our society that doesn't have a whole lot of money. Have a backup plan for them, have that safety net, right? But don't put people in fucking debt. But at the same time, if you don't want to use, let's say it is a universal healthcare and there's a government healthcare that helps everybody, if you are rich enough, if you are well off enough, where you want to see your private physician, your specialist, your whatever, I do those specialty things done, plastic surgery, implants, fucking...
Just not helping you out. Like
the non-essential stuff, right? You should be able to do that.
Yeah.
But the taxpayers should not pay for that. We shouldn't pay for a sexual transition from male to female, female to male. I don't think that the taxpayers should be paying for that. I don't want to fucking pay for that because I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, should you be allowed to do that? Yes. Do whatever the fuck you want with your body. Like, do it when you regret it. Fucking 5 minutes later, that's between you and God, dude. But like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Like, do I think transgenders, transvestites, whatever the PC word for them is now, should these people have rights? Yes. Should they be treated fairly? Yes. 100%. But I don't want to pay for their fucking surgery. I don't think anything should be paying. I think they should be paying for it out of pocket.
So two things. Quick one. What about like a big old tranny? You have a daughter in like 6 years. She wants to go to the girls' bathroom for the first time alone. You see a big old man walk in there. That's a girl.
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just...
Fuck you!
Yeah.
Well, first of all, if I have a 6-year-old daughter, I'm not letting her go there alone.
Yeah.
Hey, let's just get that one out of the way. I'm already not that shitty a parent.
Yeah.
A, okay. B, I think that if you transition into a gender, you now do what that gender does. Like, I remember 4 years ago, 3 years ago, they let a transgender to UFC or whatever big fighting corporation it was, and it was a dude who had been a dude for like 30-something fucking years, recently became a woman and was just beating the fuck out of all these women. And they're like, well, how does she do it? Her grounding power is amazing. How does she do this? And they're like, oh, she was a man for fucking 30 years. No fucking shit. Like, no shit. I see my fucking levels spiking. like, no shit. Yeah. So that's ridiculous. I think that, like, if you transition to a gender, you need to be in that fucking gender. Now, look, if a fucking dude becomes a chick, starts going to the chick, because this is not a male brain.
Yeah.
No matter what those hormone things do, no matter what the drugs that they take, I believe, I'm not fucking educated, this is my assumption, that brain is still a male brain. So if they go to that female restroom and start being weird, every female in that restroom has every right to put their fucking high heel in that fucker's eye.
Yeah.
Like, you know what you're signing up to do, don't be a dick about it. Don't be a fucking... I think it's the bottom line of this country. It should be, don't be a dick. Just don't listen to America. We are so much better off than everybody else for the most part.
Yeah.
This is still the greatest country to live in. No matter how horrible country we're living in right now. Don't be a dick. Don't fuck it up for the rest of us.
Yeah, exactly. That's the bottom line, honestly. So what was I gonna say?
So back to what you were saying about Trump, right?
Yeah. Oh, universal.
The universal healthcare. I don't know how to fix healthcare.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fucking do it, but I think those should be the bottom lines. It should be, you shouldn't be fucked over for going to the hospital, but also the general public, if we do universal healthcare where the taxes are raised to pay for it, not a single penny of that should be going to specialty care that is non-essential.
Yeah.
I think that's the way that needs to be. Anything private healthcare should not be funded by the fucking mass populace.
That gets sticky though, I would say. It's just like, well, because then you're saying, okay, a doctor that goes to school for 8 years and is $600,000 in debt is now making minimum wage working at a hospital.
So then I think that
Because now they're not getting paid like they used to from the consumer, the person that gets hurt.
So that, well then my counter for that is you need to fix it, which is not even a counter, it's a statement. You need to fix education. You need to fix student debt. You should make it to where that doctor is not $600,000 in debt. Because why should anyone be in so much debt, period? But why should they be in that debt when they literally want to go into a service or go into a profession to serve?
Yeah.
Right? Because I feel like, now granted, maybe there are doctors out there who definitely do it for the money. I have no doubt there are people like that. But I feel like they're not all cops are bad. I feel like not all doctors are fucking money hungry.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you know what they're doing, and then when you go up from the professors to the chancellors and the commissioners and the owners and all these people, the board of regents, is it a stressful job? 100%. But these people are fucking billionaires.
Oh, yeah.
And you're pumping out these students that are going into hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. There is something wrong here. Something is wrong. And then you can take that argument into like capitalism. Is capitalism right? Capitalism isn't working, but I still think it's right when it works right. And like in healthcare, I think like I think there should be a baseline safety net for people when it comes to healthcare, but also you need to remove that higher power that every pharmaceutical company, every organization that runs hospitals, that they funnel up to. Because if you have say the pharmaceutical companies, right? If you have A, B, and C, in theory with capitalism, they are all competing for their market. So therefore, the person with the lowest prices will get the most customers, therefore they keep their prices low, pump out a better product, and they're winning. Yeah. And that is beautiful, right? But if A, B, and C is just funneling up to one bigger head, excuse me, if they're all funneling to one bigger head, then that whole system is negated. It doesn't make any sense. And how do you fix that? I mean, I think Trump's going about it the best way when he lowered the insulin prices.
Yeah, that's what I was right about to say.
So I think he went about it the right way, and you really just need I don't believe in tyrannies, obviously. I don't believe in a magic wand for a president to have, but there are some areas where someone needs to get up there and say, fuck you. Granted, they're going to commit suicide afterwards, but they need to get up there and say, fuck you, you don't exist anymore, half of your budget is now gone, you have the essential budget now because you've been robbing the American people. Like I said before this podcast, I'm very open about it, I'm thankful to have healthcare right now, healthcare system given to me right now. And so my antidepressant, for me, is free. If I was paying over the counter, I think a month's worth is $125.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Because, for me, my mental stuff that I deal with isn't seasonal, isn't whatever. When I got diagnosed, it's like, oh shit, I've been doing this since I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
So it's just my brain chemicals just aren't working right. My brain literally just isn't working right. But those pills change my fucking life.
Yeah.
I'm a completely different person. I feel it.
Yeah.
And people around me see it. I'm a completely different person. And I need that medication. I need to go through the full cycle. And then I need to go through the full cycle of weaning myself off and leaving those chemical levels at the same baseline where they should be.
Yeah.
I didn't choose that. I didn't fucking wake up one morning and be like, you know what?
I'm gonna be depressed.
I'm gonna be fucking depressed. I'm gonna be anxiety-ridden, borderline paranoid.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I didn't choose that. So, as a byproduct of that, I didn't choose to be in debt or potential debt. I don't want to put medication on a credit card. You know how fucked up of a sentence that is? Things that I need to function properly, I will now go into debt for. That makes zero sense. Now, how are these companies going to make a profit?
Yeah.
How are they, these things? Again, I'm not smart enough to tackle that. You can't put me up against on a debate stage and I'll be able to win. No, but what I will be able to say is, whoever you are putting in charge to figure that out, you better hit these marks. And these are some general marks that everyone can agree on. Right? Just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Don't be a dick. Let capitalism work. Stop putting a cap on capitalism. But then the question becomes, I actually had this conversation last night, is should billionaires exist?
I think so.
Maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
But then also, like,
It's the American dream.
Right, but I've also got the Spider-Man
mindset with great power with great responsibility. If you have so much money that your like next 3 generations will never have to work a day in their life, but there are people suffering, there are systems in place that are effectively failing, there are education systems that are underfunded like no other. I think as an American, you at a bare minimum should care about your fellow American.
now does this apply to the dickheads, like
The bad cops, the supremacists, the murderers, the rapists, the fucking pedophiles, human traffickers, fuck, they're not American.
Yeah.
They fundamentally go against what America stands for, what this great experiment stands for, right? These prejudices do not apply. But I think as an American, if you had all this fucking money, maybe some should be redistributed. Now, should the government order you to? I don't know. I err on the side of I don't think so. But that should just be there. Now, granted, it's real easy for me to say because I'm down here and they're up there, and I'm not saying that you should not reap what you sow. I'm not saying that Jeff Bezos shouldn't be reaping what he worked tirelessly to make.
Yeah, it's like.
But that motherfucker is about to be, or he is a trillionaire.
It's like
that's a bit too much money, dude.
What was it? Back in like 90. When did he start Amazon? Like 90.
in the 80s, I think.
Really? I was gonna say like 92.
Late 80s, early 90s.
Okay. Yeah, that's what 20 years until. I mean, let's say.
But he hit millionaire way before right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like
let's get
back
that
in
out
like
of the way.
2000 and like.
3, 4.
Yeah.
It took about 10 years to get to millionaire, I think.
Yeah.
Well, no, it took him like 10 years to get to multi-millionaire. He rode the same wave the internet did.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, and that goes to show how brilliant he is because he created something ground zero.
Yeah.
That's the same thing Mark Cuban did.
Yeah.
Ground zero. He knew where the market was going. He's like, oh, I think
we could do this.
something's gonna happen on the internet. I'm gonna sell books. And now he's here.
Yeah.
Like literally, I don't even think about going to Walmart now. I'm just like, oh, I need a light for my truck. Amazon.
Did you see the Amazon grocery store in Cali?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Dude, that's scary.
Game over.
Dude, that's sorry going on like a tangent now, but that's exactly what Andrew Yang was trying to say during those debates. Automation. He tried telling us this, and nobody fucking listened. Not a year later, where are we?
Yeah.
A fucking Amazon store where you literally
Not even thinking about anything.
You go into the store, you put it into the cart has a fucking screen that shows you how much it costs, how much you put in there, and then you don't even need to ask a worker how the product is, because there's fucking Amazon ratings on the labels where you get the product.
It's stupid. It's taken, I don't know, it's going to put a lot of people out of business.
Yeah.
But that's like the majority of robots in the world.
Well, I think the progression of technology is something that's
It's gonna help us out a lot. But like, there's if you want to go to conspiracy theories, there's a thing I was reading about today where it's like there's organizations that are fundamentally anti-human, and it's like humans are obsolete. We need to get as much machines as we can as possible to make the human experience easier. And then therefore, eventually we become obsolete, and you're gonna find a way to put our fucking brains into a machine, and now we become these silicone beings. Right? And that's fucking years and years and decades down the road if that ever comes to fruition. But like, now as things are progressing, especially after COVID, it doesn't seem unrealistic that it happens 50 years from now. Because like you said, where was Amazon 20-something years ago, 25 years ago when they were launched? Where's Amazon now? They could beat Walmart.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, if states accept the Amazon grocery store, they effectively beat Walmart. They beat retail stores. Because Amazon sells fucking everything.
Yeah.
And I got, most of the shit I got off of eBay, but because it's cheap.
Yeah.
But like the cameras, the tripods, the fucking, well, the heaters cost it. But like, most of the shit in here is all those records Amazon. Right? Like, all of this shit is fucking this little statue piece here, Amazon.
Yeah.
Right? So you effectively, Amazon can just be this, like, if there's one company, one brand that's gonna take over America, it's Amazon. And I really do think that, like, if that happens, and so many people go out of work, I think that's a setup for a beautiful utopia, because then if you do a UBI, and you give people true freedom to do what they want with their life, if you give our generation and the generation that we create, if you give them a UBI that's livable, that's supplements, right? Not takes away work, but supplements work, lets them be free. I mean, again, that was Andrew Yang's argument was if you give people $1,000 a month, not only do you free them up to do, like, they can fix whatever house problems they have, they fix that car, and 9 out of 10 they're going to go to the local businesses. So the minute you bail out the people, you bail out everything else. It's literally a trickle-up economy. Trickle-down has never worked.
Yeah.
Trickle-down economy has never worked. Bailing out the auto industry, bailing out the housing industry, when we eventually have to bail out movie theaters, like, if they decide to do that, like, to get the film industry back up and running, provided they can't really get DOD going, like, that's never worked. But if you bail out the people, if you really just cut out the middleman and do what they're doing, cut out the middleman, give the people the money and let them spend it the way they want, you will end up bailing out the country, right? That's my thought on it.
Yeah.
Is you let that money go up and you circulate that economy, and
I still think poor people are going to be poor.
no, people are still going to make bad decisions.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
People are still going to make bad decisions because I think at that point when you do a UBI and you let people who want to take care of their shit, which is the grand majority of people, the people who still suck at life, who still make horrible decisions, right? And the very small group like that just still have a horrible life situation, that's just life. And that's fucking ugly, and no one really wants to say that, but it's ugly and it sucks, but like, you need to do everything we can to help these people and help these poor communities, but there's still going to be those pockets of people that make horrible decisions. So there'll be those pockets of people that have horrible lifestyles that they can't really get out of. And that's fucking horrible, and you need to keep doing everything every day to get them out of that, right? But like, the grand majority, if you give them that UBI, they'll fix up their cars, they'll fix up their house, they'll better their living situation, they'll have more food on the table, and then, fuck man, like, if you have $1,000 a month, what are they gonna do? They're gonna go to the movie theater. They're gonna go to local business and eat out.
Yeah.
They're gonna pump up that economy, and then the big part that he brought up as well is they're gonna do art, whatever their art form is. For me, it's my podcast. Right? If I had $1,000 a month, dude, like, I don't need investors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would have I have a good laptop, a great laptop.
Yeah.
I have a better one. I have another laptop. That would be strictly for upstairs. My entertainment, I have a laptop for simply creating.
Yeah.
I have more cameras set up, right? I have better lighting. Like, I would be able to perform my art better. The art of yours that we'll get to in a little bit, that would probably be off the ground and fucking going right now.
Yeah.
Right? So, if you just, my argument on that is if you stimulate the individual, you stimulate the society, it goes up.
Yeah.
That's my
Is that
thought.
putting everybody on like the same level they're on right now though?
What do you mean?
If you give everybody $1,000, it's is that going to deflate money, and or
No.
is that keeping everybody literally where they're at today?
No, and here's why. Because I see what you're saying. Is like, oh, well, this is what I think you're saying. Is, oh, so a business owner, right? Or a landlord, they see, oh, every $1,000 a month, rent goes up.
Yeah.
Things go up. I don't think so.
Yeah.
And the reason I think for that is because Andrew Yang's plan was fucking genius. You don't raise taxes. You don't take money out of their pocket just to give it back to them, like they're doing right now with the fucking lower taxes, which is fucking stupid. You charge these multi-billion-dollar companies. You charge them. You take a fraction of the dollar out of every Amazon purchase, every Google search, every Google Maps road, every Uber drive. You don't take it from the workers, you take it from that company, you take it from their net worth, you take those pennies out, right? And that all collectively becomes enough to distribute $1,000 a month. And again, I'm not the finance person, I'm not the fucking numbers guy, but that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And you would hope that people don't jack up their prices, but maybe you just need to be the government and be like, hey, if you are fucking raising your prices because you know we're putting you in, fuck you.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Like, that's a dick move. Like, I think that's when the government has to step in and kind of be like, fuck you, don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, because that's what, if you're doing that, then you would just, again, you are putting us right back to the same level.
Exactly.
But that is the one pitfall, just human greed. I think the government needs to come in and like, hey, fuck you, don't. However which way they do that. But
because that's the same thing as the stimulus check. They gave everyone, what is it, $1,500?
yeah.
And this next year, our taxes are going to be up by
Well, see,
X%.
Well, the $1,500
Somebody has to pay for that.
Well, the $1,500 thing doesn't equate to the taxes going up next year. Well, the reason why the taxes are going up through January to February is because October to December our taxes are down. That's why that's happening. That's not the initial $100.
Yeah, but who's paying for that? New Mexico's poor. New Mexico's broke.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
So where does that money come from?
Truthfully, I don't know.
Yeah. It's going to be in the taxes. It has to be.
See, that's the thing. Like, so right now it has to be, but overall I don't think it has to be. You don't.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
No.
It shouldn't be. And I think right now, unless those people behind Andrew Yang and Andrew Yang himself, he should be the fucking president. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Andrew Yang?
Yes. I really think he should have been president. And because again, he's like Trump. He's a businessman, but he's not Trump. Like all the Trumpiness that makes Trump Trump is gone with Andrew Yang.
Yeah.
Andrew Yang is still the businessman, and he spent. Aside from the business he was creating and the charities he was doing, he spent time in the Obama administration helping run like their housing division, trying to figure all that how to repair us back out of the housing crisis of 2008 and giving us the economy that helps springboard Trump. He was in the mix with all that. So I think he was the right guy to do it. And what was crazy to me was like, so many people were saying like, yeah, we can't do the UBI, blah, blah, blah. Well, when COVID kicked off and they issued the stimulus check, who the fuck did they turn to? They turned to Andrew Yang and they turned to his model. They turned to, that's what that $1,200 check was, the UBI.
Yeah.
That's what that was. Now what's shitty is they had no fallbacks for that. They had no like, hey, like my first thought would have been, before the UBI even happened, my first thought is if you're gonna put people out of work, help them out at least. Like, if these people have the car loans, their mortgages, their rents, you need to find out to do a federal mandate to where it's like, hey,
Halt everything.
either freeze their mortgages and their loans, or keep the mortgage going, keep that clock going, but whatever documented month that they have that they're out of work, take that 3 months, 5 months, whatever it was, and just tack it on the back.
Yeah.
Extend it out. It's gonna get extended anyway, whether you freeze it or not.
Yeah.
Just legally throw it on the back of it. So that these people aren't becoming homeless. You know what I mean? And incredible credits due. So our unemployment rate got up to like 11%, right? 12.
Yeah, I'm not positive.
They got up to 11 or 12%, which was inching to where it got under Obama with the housing crisis. But it's swiftly going back down, which is good. Like, it shows that Trump knows how to handle the economy. So that's good, but like, the government just kind of, they literally, it's that fucking Cherry Park Boys to me, like, I'm gonna give you $1,200 to fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they did, and then they gave us $1,200 for, if we're being real, so $1,200 hit for, my $1,200 didn't hit till like September. But like, $1,200 for everybody in March, and we're still in lockdown in October.
Yeah.
So what, that's 6 months? $1,200 for 6 months.
Yeah, it's easy.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's stupid, dude.
But so the round is all the way back. Who's gonna win? I think Trump.
Yeah.
I think the biggest reason is because The riots, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
With all the riots and the violence and just everything that people are doing in name of the left.
Yeah.
In name, don't get me wrong, the worst of the right is a bunch of racists. It is.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of fucking Confederate flag waving idiots that fucking want to preach that they're a Republican and they're a conservative and that they're pro and they all wear their Trump hats and they're all spewing this hate speech, this hatred narrative. So that's horrible. I'm not going to negate that. That is fucking horrible. But on that same, on the side of that coin, is you have so many people that are doing the rioting, the burning down of the building. They tried to fucking burn down the building I think the mayor of Portland lives in.
Yeah.
So all these people are doing this violence in name of the left. And the reality here is that when this X person, right, this person is faced with what are you most willing to vote on the party of? The party that has the more racists or the party that has these people that are really burning down the country? These people are turning a blind eye to the racism and writing down Republican. Like, let's be real, that's what they're doing. So I think a lot of people that are Democrats, that are in the Democratic Party, all the conservative people that are in the Democratic Party, all the liberalists that are in the Democratic Party, all the middle running people that are in the Democratic Party, they're slowly going to the Republican side. Because they're like, dude, you just fucked my small business. Mm-hmm. And you're doing it, you just fucked my police department. You're doing all these things in the community. I think a lot of that is going to the right. Or to the Republican Party. And I meant to look into it more for this podcast, but I just didn't have time. But I guess now Pennsylvania is becoming the swing state. And now they're getting added into the mix with Texas, Florida, and New York. Where it's like, if Trump wins Pennsylvania, he's got the election.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily sure why, but that's what I'm reading off. I get from both sides, from like people like Fox News and OAN to fucking NBC, CNN.
I haven't heard that. So
Yeah.
I don't have a comment on that.
Yeah, so I guess that's being added to the mix. And I just remember last election, 2016, the big thing was if he wins Florida,
This guy.
it's in the bag. And what the fuck happened? He won Florida in a landslide.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot easier last time.
And he has that. He has that now.
Oh yeah.
The only big state that he doesn't have is California.
He's never gonna get California.
No Republican is ever gonna get
California, dude. Like I got relatives in California. I think California's a beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, Southern California is a very beautiful state.
Yeah.
But that motherfucker needs to break off and just go. Like, we need to get rid of California, dude. Like, there's so many fucked up things going on in that state right now. And, oh god, dude, I just don't know what the fuck's going on over there. Like,
Wildfires, bunch of
the wildfires,
yeah,
the wildfires are tragic, and that's not political. That's just, I think most of that, and I'm not very smart, I'm not all red on this, but like, from what I'm hearing, a lot of it is just nature doing its thing.
Yeah.
Just nature just burning. Just, they gotta burn out the brush, but we gotta control it, and it actually makes it worse somehow. So that's very tragic that's happening, and they need all the help they can get.
I think the political thing on that Trump was saying is the lack of like cleaning up the small sticks in between like all the forests, which is like
weird.
that's just nature.
Well, that's what him saying, like, I know wind, I'm the best part about wind. What's gonna happen with the electricity, the wind doesn't blow? It's like, well, there's electricity in the fucking turbines, you idiot. Like, even I know that. Like, it's like saying wood, not just solar panels don't work. Yes, they do. That's the whole point. They store the electricity. That's the whole point. So So California's all fucked up, and yeah, I don't know if they're gonna win that. But yeah, man, I think it'll be neck and neck, but I think Trump has it.
It's scary.
I think it'll be a very close, within 5% margin between Biden and Trump, and I think there's gonna be a very big uptick for libertarians.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's what I think it's gonna be.
I agree.
It'll be weird though. It's gonna be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens from the right if Biden wins.
Yeah.
What happens then? Because we know what's gonna happen if Trump wins.
Yeah.
They've shown us.
Yeah.
They've shown us their entire hand. They've shown us the deck.
Yeah.
They're like, this is what's gonna happen.
We're gonna burn everything down.
We know
We're gonna
that.
riot and we're gonna cry.
But like all the Republican, all the right side,
protests have just been them standing without a mask.
Yeah.
No burning down, really, not too much. Like, there was a Charleston incident back in 2017, which was horrible. Don't get me wrong, that was fucking horrible. There hasn't been a whole lot like that, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
So, and you know the left-wing media will be all over right-side politics, or right-side riots, but they're not happening.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of fucking idiots running around the mess.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with the right.
Yeah. If Biden wins, it's gonna be just like all the Republicans or everybody that didn't want him to win, just being like, well, hey, put your backpack on, let's get going. We're gonna, it'll work. We're gonna make it work.
Yeah,
Because being like younger and stuff, it's just like, okay, whoever's president, how is it really affecting me? Like that was always my outlook.
Well,
like,
I think it's really gonna affect us now.
No, yeah, but
because Biden, like, I don't think he's a vessel for true socialism, but he's.
Everybody backing him is just, it's going to be disgusting.
The economy is just going to be worse than it was under Obama. And really, it's not going to be President Biden, it's President Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta, God, man, if they win, the first chance she gets, she's going to smother that fucker. She's going to put that pillow on his old little head, wait for the twitching to stop, and then she's going to be the president. Like, I don't see Biden, in all seriousness, I don't see Biden making it 4 years. Like,
He's looking rough.
He's looking rough. He's been rough.
Yeah.
And even if you look at one of the most charismatic presidents we've ever had, Barack Obama, you look at him through his first term, the before and after, not even going into fucking 2012 to 2016.
Yeah.
That first 8 to 12 stretch, like, yeah.
How do I do this? How do I rotate it?
Oscillate.
I'm cold over here.
Let me see.
Technical difficulties. There we go.
There you go, oscillate. Sorry about that.
There you go.
So yeah, like I think. So yeah, with him. So he looks fucking bad. I think the president that handled it the best was fucking Trump.
Oh yeah.
He looks pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Even after COVID.
Well, I think his job before being president was worse. He had so much money. He was like he knows stress. Being that
I
high
agree with
in
that.
business, he knows stress and he knows how to deal with it.
I think president was worse though. I'll say why after.
Yeah, and that's kind of my 2 cents, I guess.
So he knew stress for sure. For sure, because he failed a lot. But he succeeded a lot. So he knew stress for sure. However, and before he started running for president, everyone loved him.
Yeah.
Like, there were definitely his critics, because he's a fucking misogynistic piece of shit, which you can't really argue that. He definitely was, or still is maybe. But like, now there are just so many more people hating him, and that gets to you. I don't care who you are, it's going to get to you. You know, and I think now whether it's because of time constraints or the public image, probably a mixture of both, he just can't be the party guy he used to be. And age, obviously. But he just can't be the Donald anymore. He had to be President Trump. And I think that lifestyle switch was a bit much.
Yeah.
So, but he still handled it the best.
Yeah. I agree.
But yeah, man, It'll be interesting to see what happens with Biden wins. Biden, Kamala, shit show.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to say the least.
What's your thought on electric cars?
It's the future. That's.
Do you think we're going to be able to completely remove ourselves from gas-powered cars?
I hope not.
Same.
Yeah, it'd be a huge letdown because I'm like a truck car guy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, environmental reasons. Like, yeah, sure, I could see how cars and trucks are affecting the environment, but
We need fossil fuels, though.
electronic cars aren't good.
It'll be all.
No,
Yeah,
because what does it take to create an electric car?
exactly.
You know.
Yeah, and I think so studies are done with the amount of lithium that they need to fucking drill out of the ground or whatever they need to fucking frack into. And if you're doing that on a 100% scale, you ruin this planet.
Yeah.
you absolutely fucking ruin this planet. I think, like, my personal take on it is when you go into something like power, you can't demonize fossil fuels. You can't demonize electric. You can't demonize nuclear, wind, solar. You need to find a balance with all of them and make them all work globally. Exactly. You need to all work globally. And going to your point about Trump, I think it's insane to me that him being friendly with Putin, being friendly with Kim Jong-un, being friendly with the Saudis, if that was a liberal doing that, if that was a Democrat, they would have been praised. Because it's Trump, for whatever reason, it dies of being corrupted. And with that whole impeachment process, the whole Russia collusion, there was no evidence. He's literally just trying to make friends with the bad guys.
The glove don't fit.
Yeah! OJ did it though. Yeah. Let's be real. OJ did it.
Yeah, I hate to say it.
He fucking did it. I'm sorry. Yeah, he fucking killed her and the boyfriend. Like, I'm sorry. But, like, there needs to be some level. Now, are there bad actors? Will always be bad actors? Yes. But on the world power scale, there needs to be cohesion if we're going to make it out of this one alive. Well, if the world, the Earth's going to make it out of this one, we all die, obviously, but, like, if the future generation can make it out of this one alive, there needs to be cohesion.
Yeah.
We need to work with Russia. Russia needs to work with China. China needs to work with the Saudis. We need to work with the Saudis. The Canadians need to work with us. Like, we need to work with the Mexicans. Like, it all needs to work.
Yeah.
Because if you, and that's really like the whole base of this podcast, is I want to talk to everyone that I can. If I specifically cut myself off from that person, I cut myself off from or that viewpoint or that background, I inherently cut myself off from so much information that I might need.
Yeah.
And that's what we do if we don't talk to, are the North Koreans insane? Probably.
Yeah.
Are the Russians mean? Definitely. But we need to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
We need to figure out, okay, if they are such dickheads, then why are they still afloat?
Yeah.
Why are they still a nation? Or a continent, you know? Like, why are they still in business?
Mm-hmm.
We need to figure that out. More pieces of the table, but we need to fucking, we need to
get there somehow.
Yeah, we need the big boys working together.
Yeah.
And I think Trump had the right idea.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's working right now.
He got North and South Korea to shake hands.
It's nuts.
People don't understand how
It's
big
nuts.
that is. Like,
And that's what I'm saying is like, it's the same thing with like turning a blind eye to like a corrupt cop, as in like turning a blind eye to Trump doing something that's positive, that benefits literally the entire world.
yeah.
Because then now North Korea and the US aren't going to have a freaking nuke off and
Hopefully.
murder everybody.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
You see that video of Kim Jong-un crying? You see that?
Yeah.
That was interesting. Now, obviously, there were people saying that was fake, but like,
I can see it.
I can see it being fake for sure, but like, what if?
Yeah.
You know, what if he finally kind of cracked? You know?
And then when like, I don't know how true that was when he was like in the coma or whatever, and then like he wasn't really in the coma to get like insight on who was backstabbing him and like all that stuff.
Yeah. I remember like the memes that came out, like what if he's dead and that, and then somehow the sister was worse. It's like, oh fuck!
We're done, yeah.
Oh man, I don't know, dude. Oh, fuck. But on better and brighter things, you're making a fucking board game.
Yeah, dude.
Talk to me about that, because I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Let's bring it
Yeah,
up.
show me what this fucking board game is.
So this is that's my gift to you. It's my little
Thank you.
personal brand. You know.
Yeah, I remember your
video.
videos.
Yeah. So Bedhead, you know, hopefully I'll have a media company one of these days.
Unofficial sponsorship, let's go.
There you go. There you go. I'm all
I
about it.
love this. I love this a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, I used to do a lot of video work, so this stuff is super interesting to me because I've always wanted to get like a podcast set up because my brother loves Joe Rogan, kind of like yourself. So he's just like, yeah. He's just like, dude, we should. He's like, bro, we should make a podcast. I'm like, let's do it.
Okay, sorry going on a tangent on this, but that's literally how this started.
Yeah.
Was I remember I also posted one episode. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, dude, it wasn't sitting for like 4 hours high on mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like, and if you break it down, if you were right, I fucking love this. If you were right on paper what they talked about, it's nothing particularly interesting.
Yeah.
But they're so into it that you're into it. And I remember I finished it and went back to work. And I'm doing my thing at work. And I'm like, everything they talked about, I talk about that with my friends on a Friday night. We just kick back a few beers and we shoot shit with each other.
Yeah.
So why couldn't I throw a microphone in there? You know, and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And as I was thinking about it, I was like, well, what equipment would I need? And it all just kind of fell into place.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, I encourage you. Fucking do it, dude. It's fun.
Yeah. Only Kings. That's sick, dude. I love it. Like when I first saw you post about it, I was like, dang, this is gonna be sick.
And dude, you know what's crazy to me? So I was super worried about doing Only Kings because that's why my first post, I put a little disclaimer saying, yes, I will have women on this fucking podcast. And I'm not misogynistic. I just like jokes.
Yeah.
I don't mean, and even with that, I don't even read everything. It's like, fuck. This might even get off the ground. Because some people are gonna hate the logo. They're gonna hate the name. They're gonna go fucking misogynist person. They're gonna think that I hate women. You know. And my first one was to hope that my girlfriend loved it. She laughed her ass off. I was like, okay, cool, thank God.
Yeah.
She's not gonna leave me. Awesome. But I was like, fuck, what about everybody else? Right? Dude, I literally haven't had bad feedback about the logo, thank God.
Yeah.
But most of my positive feedback have been from women.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. And I don't know how the fuck that one worked out, but like, yeah, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's sick. It's like the Barstool thing, like Call Me Daddy, like the girls' podcast.
Oh, yeah,
It's
call
killer.
her daddy.
Yeah, call her daddy.
Yeah.
You know, it's sick. That's like, it's just like a pun.
Yeah.
It's just a funny little phrase or whatever. It works.
Yeah, thanks, man. Okay, so back to your board game.
Yeah, so like a little bit over a year ago, we started basically my friend was like, hey, come to my friend's house. He wants you to play a board game. I'm like, okay, like it's.
You know there's Xbox, right?
And I was like, I don't really want to do that. So me being a business guy, he's like, dude, just come. It'll be cool. Like it's a business opportunity. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So show up. We play this guy Dan his board game, and I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. Like, I mean, I played like Monopoly and like Yahtzee and like that, like family games. I've never played like a tabletop
like a Warhammer or
like a strategy like type board game, like crazy strategy.
Oh, like why am I losing it? Where you play war with each other? You know what I'm talking about, right? You take over countries.
Risk.
Yeah. Risk. Yeah.
Yeah. So like a game like that. So we go to his house. We're playing this game, and I'm just like, dang, this is pretty cool. So like, long story short, after we play that game, he's like, I want to mass produce this game, put it on Kickstarter, see if somebody would be interested. I had no idea. I'm like, okay, look, I've done like a couple Kickstarters before.
Right.
Let's see if this is actually plausible. So I'm talking to my other, like the friend that took me over there, and he's like, yeah, like I think we could do it. Like these board games make $100,000 on Kickstarter like every week. Like there's money.
We might be able to do it.
Yeah, so I'm like, hey, like that's good money. Like, yeah, I'll try it, you know?
Yeah.
So the original concept of launching this game that this guy already had built was, okay, let's do this. Then fast forward like a month, we're like, okay, let's not do this. This game's already too polished. Let's do a practice run, a little guinea pig, if you will, of a game that we make by ourselves, and try to do that one first to see if there's actually a market for like this type of game.
Right.
That's where we came up with this.
So this is the alpha that came, the alpha footage that came out of the already established board game.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is Starframe. So this is first press release.
Yeah, bought on a budget. No, I get you, dude.
Yeah.
I get you.
So we came up with this game, and basically the premise of the game, I can't give too much details, but it's in space. You're building a spaceship. You're conquering planets. You're conquering other like bad guys in space, and whoever collects the most, we call it hypermatter in space, gets to escape this ultimate doom in the black hole, and that's the winner.
Cool. I dig it.
Yeah, so like it was coming from like some random game, backtracked all the way a year from now. We started working on this thing, and now it's like from here. I have the.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
I have the real box.
Oh,
but
dude!
we won't show like the real thing. So this is what we have right now.
That is sweet.
It's like it's a real thing. So I'll show it away from the camera just to know it here. But like we got like, it's the real deal.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
This is cool.
So
Shit.
it's like Dan our
You got pieces in
Yeah.
it. You got fucking.
yeah.
You got cards and
Like, look at that.
shit. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude, this is fucking dope.
Yeah. So it's like it's come a long way. You can, yeah.
I
It's
love that.
Yeah.
I love this. This is awesome. This belongs on a fucking shelf.
Yeah.
You could have told me you bought this from Target.
Yeah, so that's the goal. But it's been a crazy experience because they kind of let me be a business guy / social media guy for the team.
Right.
And granted, we all put in like ideas and stuff to actually make this game
Yeah, it's
possible.
definitely a collective effort.
But it's crazy how much I didn't know went into a business. I'm like, holy smokes.
That's kind of what I'm facing too.
Yeah, so it's been like a year and a half of just like struggling like week to week to week to week to figure out like how are we going to get this to release in X amount of time. So I mean we have I'll show you the most recent one, but I was told not to give too much away. But
No, that's fine.
yeah, ask some questions because
Dude, okay, just right off the bat, my first question is, if as much as you can give away, obviously, who are these people?
yeah, so these are like our main characters.
Okay.
So
Are they all in the same team, or are they different factions?
yeah, so we have aliens, we have humans, and we have robots,
Okay.
all living like kind of jointly in space, trying to
Okay.
escape this black hole. Storyline right now, can't give you too
Yeah.
much. It's up in the air right now, so that'll come with time. But yeah, those are so there's 4.
So like, are they? So the aliens, the droids, robots, and the humans, they're all fighting each other to get out of the black hole.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. It's more of like, so they're all on this.
The way I kind of see it is like, at the end of the game, one person wins.
Yeah.
There is one decided winner.
Yep.
Everyone else is getting sucked up by the black hole.
Yep. So there's a space station.
Okay.
It's going into a black hole, and everybody's on that space station. You're building a spaceship on the station so that you could go out and look for these high value points, this hypermatter, so that you could create a prototype engine to like that's actually capable of boosting you out of this black hole.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, each of these characters, they have like special abilities that play like hand in hand of like that decides how you play the game.
Okay.
So let's say like one character, let's say, is better at building ships. One character is better at traveling in and out of space in their station. So they're just like, you want to highlight that play style and play
It's
that
very
way.
RPG.
Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy because I never knew how much balancing went into making a game, but then you're like,
Lore building.
I'm like, this character's way overpowered.
Lore building is tough.
Yeah, that like and that's all this game is, honestly, is like for the past like we made the game in like a couple months.
Keep going. Let's do a counter check.
Yeah.
Real quick. Keep
Yeah.
going.
We made the game in like a couple months, and after that, it was like, okay, let's revise. And it's just been like a crazy thing since then. So it's just been a learning process, honestly. So hopefully within, I'm not supposed to give a release date, but hopefully within the next couple of months, we're gonna be pretty close.
That's
and
awesome.
what's cool is like we got this. Can we close the garage?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
cold, dude.
Yeah.
I'm all shivering and stuff.
Yes, we are in a garage.
Yeah. Hey, it's the spot. This place is sick.
Thanks, man.
His setup is sick. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, it's honestly just been crazy. Like I never thought, like even with my girlfriend, I'm like, babe, this is gonna take off. Like it's like your classic like the guy doesn't have like a real job scenario, you know?
Hey, I feel that.
But like I do have a real job outside of this.
Yeah.
But this is like something that could make me like financially free that wouldn't require me to like work.
So I got paranoid about the cameras.
Work much more.
Trying to make sure that we're all good for this. Got real paranoid for a second. No, I get you. Trust me. Like, I because like, and we talked about this I think like 2 months ago. It's a sad predicament, but if you make it good, it is. It's becoming very apparent that for our generation and the future generations, that multiple forms of income are needed.
Yeah.
And I was talking about that with the future guest line that I have on in a few weeks. I was talking to her about it, and I mean, she got her degree. She did what she's supposed to do. She was going to do this, go to fucking do well in high school, do well in college, get a degree, get a job. The job part didn't fucking work out, right? And then the same job part didn't work out because of fucking COVID. So now, she's an amateur bodybuilder, and she does her own pottery. She has her own business doing pottery, and I was talking to her about it. She's like, yeah, like, I want to do my one thing with, like, psychology and pottery, but now I just want to do pottery because they have money.
Yeah.
So I totally get you. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, this looks like you got a fucking barcode.
Yeah. Dude, it's nuts. It's nuts. Like,
I love this.
So, we're Exodus Games, that's our company.
Okay.
And we already have we have more than one game that's going to be released like within the next couple years.
Awesome.
So we have like a line of games. Like this is the guinea pig to our main game, but
Is it? I know you probably can't give a lot.
Yeah.
But like, are we talking a franchise that's like a sequel to this, or a completely different setting, completely different?
completely different.
Cool.
Completely different, yeah. So obviously we would like to do like if this does well, like some games in this world, they do like a version 2, version 3, or like expansion packs. So that's gonna be super easy for us to do with this game. But like our other games, they're totally separate.
Interesting.
Like this is space. We might have one in like medieval. You know? Medieval, like totally separate gameplay. We might have one current time, totally separate gameplay. Like that doesn't even match this. So it's cool because all it is like a bunch of ideas, and like I love just being like, what if this? What if this? What if this?
Yeah, right.
And
You
then,
need to be like that.
Yeah,
You
our
need
friend
to be.
Dan is just like, we would make like we would make a change, and let me see if I can find like a old one. We'd make like a.
Look at that fucking people. Do you fucking people see this?
We'd make a change, and our like main guy Dan, he would come in like literally like days later with a brand new like set of cards,
This is dope.
and
So that became these.
yeah, so it's like we have better product.
This is good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
This is good, but that's fucking clean.
Yeah, like we printed these ourselves, like at like Office Max or Office Depot or something.
Right.
And then this came from like an actual board game, like the company that we're gonna go through. So, like logistically, it's just like it's a nightmare, honestly, right now. Just like trying to figure out who we're gonna go with, what people could give us exactly what we're looking for.
Right. I would imagine. So I see on the box, you've got 2 to 4 in a tabletop.
Yeah.
But then it says 10 plus. What is the 10 plus?
So 10 plus is like age. So
Okay. Oh, that's your
so,
age.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've had like playtesters that are like 8 years old, that play the game, and
Did you get your little cousin
yeah,
to
no,
play
exactly,
the fucking game?
exactly.
That's
And
awesome.
And they're competent enough, like they're smart kids, so they could kind of get themselves through it, but like the age 10
They
is
were
like
definitely riding the struggle bus.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like age 10 and up is like where our sweet spot is. But it's weird because like those are like we're not close to 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
Like, and then some of my like coworkers, they're like in the 30s. So, or like close to 30. and it's still fun. It's still
Good.
a fun game.
Good.
So that's the cool thing.
And if I'm looking at this right, you're looking at a 30 to 75 minute game. God, dude, that's dope. Longevity's good.
Yeah, depending on like how many rounds you do, how fast you are,
Right.
all that stuff.
Interesting, dude. I like it. I like it a lot.
So definitely, I mean, hopefully, if you'll have me back on, like once we launch and stuff, like I could deep dive into
That
it.
is the fucking plan. I'll even pay you for one. I definitely want a board game in this launch, so I'll definitely pick one for you. I want a poster too.
Yeah. Oh,
if you guys make posters, you see all this white space?
Yeah.
I need posters.
Okay. Cool.
Fucking dude.
So this is one of 2 versions,
Okay.
and then this one that I'm keeping off camera is one of 3. So this is the newest one, but like it's not even open yet.
Bro, that's a dope. See, like I said, with this, like that meme. This is good, but I love this. Like, dude, that's.
So it's just like we started with this, and we started with like a box that was like yay big, just cards, and then we're like, let's throw dice, let's throw characters, let's throw this, and this,
fucking
and then like
cool.
this.
And you know what I love? I just thought about this. You know what I love about this? It's not a fucking Star Wars or a Star Trek knockoff.
Yeah.
Like, that tends to be the theme.
Yeah.
You know? But this is, dude.
It's like, honestly,
So who came up with the design?
I
Was
would
it
say
collective?
I would say Dan. He's like the lead on like the majority of things.
Okay.
But it's all up for debate because it's like us, like 4 owners own this business, so it's always
And you're
just
just
like
shooting shit, trying to figure things out.
it's 25% decision on each little thing,
Good.
which is sometimes bad, but
Yeah.
it's worked out so
Well, this
far.
design is so. Am I allowed to show this?
Yeah, you can show that.
Yeah. That's certified dope. Like, this is awesome, man.
Yeah.
This is really, really good.
So it's just like iteration after iteration until we're happy. Which has been a year and a half so far. So.
No, hey, I've no need to rush things.
Yeah.
You rush things, you get the reboot of Battlefield or Battlefront.
Yeah. Exactly.
I like this a
So,
lot.
yeah.
I
And
like this.
the Corona kind of threw us off because we were
Yeah.
meeting like weekly. We're meeting like.
That was
twice a
going to be
week.
a question of mine. So how did COVID? So COVID. Okay, so you said. Let me back up. You said a year and a half.
Yeah.
So right now we're in October. So let's say you borderline started last March, April. So a year later we were in full lockdown.
Yeah.
How did that affect you?
Huge. So like, two of my coworkers have government jobs, so they had to be really careful with who they were hanging out with
Yeah.
due to their employers.
Right.
So our main guy Dan figured out, like, this is as of like 2.5 weeks ago. He figured out how to put this all onto Steam, and he made a computer game that's this image. Like, it's literally played exactly the same, but on a computer. So not only is that another thing that we are planning on launching, that's another thing that it's super easy. Instead of reprinting an entire different game to try out something new, he just uploads another file.
That is beyond fucking smart.
It's nuts, dude. This guy is a genius.
That is because I was gonna ask you that if you guys had any plans to bring this to a digital medium. Do you plan on doing games that are strictly like legit video games?
Yeah.
But that trying an update on a digital game and then bringing it to hard print, that's fucking Dan, if you're watching this, you're a fucking genius.
Yeah.
That is insanely smart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when this launches, if Homeboy is down, I'm here, you two are there.
Yeah.
Like, I want to talk to the both of you. How big's your team?
Just 4 people.
It's 4 people. Well, 2 of you can share a fucking mic.
Yeah.
Like, I want to talk to your whole team about this. This is fucking genius.
Yeah. No, I'm sure that they'd be down, because I told them, I was like, okay, I'm going to go on this podcast with my old friend. What can I say? And they're like, basically everything except this stuff. So I'm like,
Dude,
cool.
this is This is where the direction I was holding my podcast. Again, I didn't expect to go this early.
Yeah.
Like, so this week alone, right? Tuesday night, buddy of mine works as an autopsy tech going into med school. That was the fucking conversation.
Yeah.
Last night, buddy of mine who was an artist trying to get a tattoo apprenticeship has very liberal views, but we're still good friends. We know each other about that big. And like you and I, and he's doing his own personal business ventures. Great conversation. Talk about fucking D&T for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then now we got this.
Yeah.
Like this is exactly where I wanted my fucking podcast to go. This is awesome. I love this so fucking.
And it's cool too because I've gotten to involve like a lot of like my family and friends. Like, I would love to have a playtest with you because.
No, I was going to say, dude, when this game launches, I'm down to do a playtest for sure. When this game launches and I buy a copy, I'm gonna get my idiots over, or you're gonna get a case of Budweiser, and we're gonna fucking get a bigger table hopefully by then and play this game.
Yeah. So like if you look right here, it's our playtesters that we're thinking in our rule book. So like it's cool.
Let me say if I recognize any names.
Yeah, you'll recognize some.
Well, that's your chick, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds familiar. Dude. And you're looking for backers.
Yeah.
Investment opportunities are open.
Yeah. So we'll be launching on Kickstarter.
I'm just reading what's on camera, right?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
We'll be launching on Kickstarter hopefully in some months. So yeah.
This is really well made.
If we get some backing from your guys, that'd be sweet. That'd be really cool.
Provided if and when things work out, I would love to invest in this. This is.
It's crazy, dude. It's like literally like we started out with just this stuff, like literally that was the game, to all of this. You know? It's nuts.
I mean, impressed doesn't even come close.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm like, when I tell people, yeah, I'm like making a board game with some of my friends, and they're like, oh, like, cool, you really
fun.
You really hit rock bottom, haven't you?
I knew that's how I did.
And then I show them like this game, and they're like, well, wait, like this looks professional, like. Yeah, like
it's like give a shit.
You know, the team is cool. You know, like we care about our product, and it's just cool.
So okay, on the back here I see exodusgames.com/Starframe.
Yeah.
Fully functioning website.
Right now, no.
Beta.
Yeah, so we're building out our website right now. Basically, all that it's gonna be is it's gonna be like directing everybody towards the Kickstarter until we get some media.
Well,
and some
Kickstarter's
stuff
a great
going
place
on.
to be.
Yeah.
Kickstarter's a great place to be.
That's kind of where we're at. It's just like we're trying to finish the game first, and then we're gonna finish the website, and then we're gonna launch on Kickstarter because then we'll feel good that we're.
Yeah.
And the thing too is like COVID. Like if we tried to launch right now, like there's no telling how long it's gonna take for
it's rare
a game company to ship 30,000 copies of this game.
How much?
Like around the world. Well, I don't know. That's just a number I pulled.
Bullshit it is.
Yeah, it is. I would like to sell that many copies. I don't know.
You're making fucking moves and I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Hopefully.
Dude, this is.
Then I'll be an investor into this back. Get you a Joe Rogan studio.
It's a whole circle jerk, isn't it? They're coming into the same pot of money.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love this.
Yeah.
I love that a lot. Good job. To all 4 of you, 5 of you, good job.
Thanks. It's cool, dude. Never thought I'd make a game like with a couple of dudes, but.
Dude. I've never thought I'd be making a podcast.
Yeah.
I don't publicly speak until like 3 years ago. I never really got good at it, but
yeah.
and it's really easy with friends. I haven't
trying to think of who I have coming next. I do have one person I've never met in person coming up.
Okay.
She comes on in like fucking 2 weeks, I think. So that'll be interesting. Me meeting a brand new person.
Yeah.
Other than that, dude, I've got schedules with people that I know, trying to ease myself into
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah.
But
Well, this is sick, dude.
I love this a lot, man. That's fucking cool. So okay, so any plan to bring back Bedhead?
Yeah, so that's like,
So I've been really doing vlogs for a long time.
yeah, did a lot of video stuff. So that is something that I'm gonna be bringing back hopefully here pretty soon. Granted that my job works out either here or I'm making enough money in my current job
Right.
that I'm able to just like take weekends off, film stuff, because that's what I really like to do.
Yeah.
Like I just like to create like a good story.
Yeah.
Like have you seen any of the Yeti films, like on YouTube, of just like the Yeti cooler films?
Yeah. No, that sounds like I know what their videos are, but I don't even.
It's just like it's just like normal people like hunting, fishing, camping, and then it's like a random shot of like a Yeti mug. Like it has nothing to do with it, but it's just like a cool story.
It's
and
it's a great way to market.
that's kind of what I want to do with that, is just like what gets you up in the morning. Like you could care less what you look like, what your like image is, like as long as you're getting up and doing what you love. So that's like what the Bedhead kind
Because
of.
I remember when you came up with that, because Bedhead was what, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Around there? Yeah, I remember him with that's fucking genius.
Yeah.
That's when he had a fucking mop.
Yeah. That's literally, I took a photo of myself with that headband, and in Photoshop I just stenciled everything out and like recolored and everything.
Yeah.
And like
That's when he had the fucking mop.
Yeah.
And the
I
bandana.
had a man bun, dude.
Yeah.
That was probably, I think that was right before I did my man bun.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's a fucking genius logo. That makes complete sense. See, and I'm glad to see that's coming back.
Yeah.
Good.
So am I. It's just like
yeah, it looks like
life.
you're having a lot of fun.
Life's busy, yeah. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
get back to what I actually enjoy.
Yeah, life is fucking busy. I feel you. So what made you like? 'Cause I remember when you started that, Vine was kind of kicking off, and Vine was real quick.
Yeah.
You know, and like Joe Rogan was big, but it wasn't the like massive thing. He was getting millions of views, but it wasn't this massive fucking
Yeah.
$100 million Spotify deal,
Yeah.
right? And there's still the argument to be had that people don't want long form content. People don't have the attention span for it, which is crazy because right now podcasts are taking off, but so is TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the weird.
Yeah.
You know, it just shows people are fucking diverse. So going back to then 5 to 6 years ago, what made you? I remember your videos were like they weren't super long like this one is. It wasn't 2 hours, 2+, but it was like 15, 20, even 30 minutes. So what made you decide I'm going to tell? Like in this video or a series you're doing, there's going to be a whole narrative. There's going to be a start to end. No matter how long it is, it's going to be a bigger one. It's not going to be a. I mean, not to like diminish Vine for what it was. Those fuckers are making a lot of money for no reason.
Yeah.
But like those are 10-second blips.
Yeah.
60-second blips are pretty much nothing. So what made you decide to go the long form route back then and not the short, easy 10 seconds?
I guess kind of just like I didn't know what I was capable of making like a whole story within like 10 seconds. So I'm like, well,
Or be a gimmick.
yeah, I'm like, I'll just do whatever a normal person would do and like tell a story in this amount of time.
Yeah.
You know? But I guess like when I was doing like vlogs and stuff on YouTube or making like commercials and stuff for like local companies, it was all kind of just like happening all at once. Like it was just like random, like, hey, oh, you film? Like, I need a commercial done for my business. And I'm like, cool.
Well, because nobody does it.
Yeah.
Like people,
It's a super remarkable skill.
Yeah, and nobody does it. And I think the reason why nobody does it is people are just scared to get into it. It's a lot.
It's expensive.
It's expensive. It's a lot, and like it's always the idea like you're never gonna be the Steven Spielberg, you'll never be Tarantino,
Yeah.
you'll never be any of those. Like, no shit, there's only one Tarantino.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you need.
And that's early on. I was like, I don't want to work in Hollywood. Like I would hate my life every day if I worked with like actors and like crazy sets and stuff. I like getting my camera, getting my mic, and going out and filming like real stuff that is happening like real time. Like trying not to fake it, because I mean, like for like commercials and stuff, you're like, okay, like drink this water right here so I can film it. Like obviously like stuff like that, but the way that Yeti does it is it's just like it's more documenting. It's kind of like this. It's like open events that are happening.
Yep.
You're just carrying a camera and like capturing it.
Well, that's what I mean. Kind of related. That's what made The Office so big.
Yeah.
Like that's what made that show so huge. It's like they are regular people, and you're watching things. And granted, obviously it's scripted, it's produced, all these things, but the format. None of the people there were exceptionally gorgeous. None of them were exceptionally handsome. I mean, they were all just regular people. Granted, as that show came on, it became a fucking Looney Tunes episode, and that's why it finally ended. But like, and it lost the grow. But in the beginning, like that first 4 seasons, it's just these are regular problems, these are regular people with regular things.
Yeah.
And that tends to be what resonates the most.
Yeah. And that's like, I feel like YouTubers nowadays, it's huge. Like if I would have started YouTube like 5 years earlier than I did, I would be like in a completely different way of life.
It would have been interesting for sure.
Yeah.
But I think, because I think a lot of people though are wising up to bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, dude, like, if I was able to do this like 5 years ago, right?
Oh yeah.
Like, if I was able to do this and get to a certain level, I just think like it would be really, because during COVID, it'd be really hard to not slip down that slope of pure bullshit.
Yeah.
Of just scripted, filtered, just and again, they have so much more money than I do, so the fucking I talk like the Logan Pauls, the Jake Paul, the fucking those people that we're some normal people. Look at my mansion. Look at the porn star that I hang out with. Look at the actors that I know. Look at all these things. And it's like, well, yeah, we get you're trying to act normal, but that's the point. You're acting normal in a fucking mansion. Like, why not just embrace it?
Yeah.
And I think that what makes people like Joe Rogan so digestible is that he lives a lavish lifestyle and no shit, but at least the dude earned it.
Yeah.
Like, if you go back, like, he was on a TV show way back in the day called News Radio. If you go back on YouTube, they're not good. If you go back and look at his old stand-up comedy from like the early 2000s, I don't like it. It's too loud, it's too brash, it's vulgar for no reason, but it obviously got to where he is now. I love his recent stand-ups. But like, you see where he is now, he just never did a lot of drugs to calm down, obviously, but like, you just see the evolution, and he's pretty much, like, he's evolved, but he's a normal dude. That's what I sort of, that's what I think if you stick, like, if people just stick with the idea of like, hey, I'm doing it because I love it. Those tend to be the people that make it.
Yeah.
Right? Not just like, I'm going to do it so I can get more followers.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it so I can make more money.
Exactly.
That's what tends to
Yeah.
leave people dead in the water. And I think going around the right way is like, no matter what happens, if this game crashes and burns, if I try another one and it crashes and burns, it just tends to not be the path. At least I've got my normal job to sustain me.
Exactly.
But better yet, I tried.
Yep.
I gave it my best shot.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that's what matters.
Because it's like, I mean, looking back on it, like I spent like hours and hours and hours and hours, and Dan and Joe and Jay all spent like hours and hours and hours and hours on this game. But
and that's a lot of money too.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
More than you expected.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot more than we expected. But looking back at like the time, now it's gone. Like we're never gonna get that back. Like what we spent on this game is what we have now. That's like, this is what we have to show for it.
Yeah.
So looking back at it now, it's just like I could care less.
Yeah.
That time doesn't really matter anymore, because now all I'm looking forward to is like the future of it. And
That's good.
yeah.
That's good, man. No, I like it a lot. I like this. I'm glad to see this is coming back.
Yeah.
Bedhead was pretty funny. I liked it a lot.
like a sticker. I'll figure out where to put this prominent. I like this a lot. And yeah, man, I just like, because my goal with this was, I love kicking with my buddies.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I just want to have fun with it. I can fuck with it. The people that I'm working with, possible business ventures that I have coming next year, they all know. They're gonna fall to them. But they know that I can go, like, obviously if I'm gonna make money, I want to. I want my fair share.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if these businesses don't pan out, I'm still gonna do this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, it's just until the wheels fall off and I run off the bridge, you know, it'll be fun to do. And like, I'll take it with my homies. I've got something pretty cool coming up next week that I'm going to announce hopefully by Sunday, right at the time of the shoot video.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, the Rogan podcast that came out a couple of days ago with Alex Jones and Tim Dillon, it's just 3 idiots sitting in a fucking chamber shooting shit. Like, and I know you've seen Alex Jones before, I know you have. He's a fucking psycho, but he turns out to be true half the time. So he's got legitimate. But like, I love kicking with my friends, and it's hard to do now because of COVID, you know. And I mean, for my friends that are artistic, I said autistic. my friends that are artistic and trying to do business ventures, I think this is a great way. Like, small businesses should be promoting small businesses. Small brands should promote small brands. Because, like, if you're, I don't get the people that are like, follow my shit, subscribe to my shit. Oh, you're a small business? Go fuck yourself. I'm better than you. No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not. Like, even if you were someone making more money, no, you're not. We all gotta start somewhere. Unless we small $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know.
You just blow up, pay for everything. Yeah. It's true, dude. It's definitely, it gets a little scary when you're like starting something new, but you'll never know until you try it.
Yeah.
And that's like a lot. I've tried a lot of things in like just my life, and I'm only 24, but I've tried like a lot of different career paths. I've tried a lot of different things that just like, do I like this hobby or would I prefer this hobby? Like, you know, and then you're just like, you're constantly searching for happiness, I would say. You're just like, whatever you like to do, that's it. You should do.
Well, I think that's a beautiful note to end it on.
Yeah.
Just try.
Yeah. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't be a dick. That's a big one. Don't be a dick and just keep trying.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm excited about this. Keep me updated.
For sure.
When this launches, I want as many of your team in here as humanly possible. Hopefully, I have a bigger team of women.
Yeah.
And I would love to do a podcast while playing this game. I want to talk to you guys about the finished projects, possible upcoming projects. I'm excited about
Yeah, me too. Thanks so much for having me. I'll definitely be tuning in and promoting you. So
Thanks, man.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
Thanks, man.